Cape to Cape. Well, we're off on an adventure this morning, Steve.
We are going from Cape to Cape.
I thought that might be the case.
Yes.
Some capers.
Yes. Batman and Superman.
That's right.
They'll be there. Oh, it's Cape to Cape. Salmon. It's probably one of Western Australia's best walks from Cape Naturaliste to Cape Leeuwin, depending if you go north or south. I think most people tend to go start in the north and go south, mainly because the sun is at your back. But it doesn't really matter because it depends on what time of the year you go, because the winds change direction over the year. So it's probably best to walk with the wind at your back rather than to face it. But yeah, it's a good little. It's 135 k's. Probably takes you about 6 to 7 days, depending on your fitness, and that's travelling about 20 to 25 k's a day, which is
moderately
fairly substantial when you consider that you're wearing a pack and stuff.
I've forgotten about the pack. Yes.
Yeah, well, you need that. But having said that, there's lots of accommodation around the track as well, because we are in the Margaret River region. So
what's that track like? Is it very clear? There's not any chance I'd get lost easy.
No, because it's signposted. Well, it's marked. It's not signposted. Right. There's markers all the way along it. They're pretty clear, and it depends. Some of the tracks have been tailor-made for it, and they're quite wide and they're quite good.
Good.
Others, they've just used old four-wheel drive vehicle tracks, and others they go through forests, etc. But they are still clearly marked. And there's a bit of the track that actually just goes along the beach.
Oh, beautiful.
So if you just follow the beach in the direction that you're heading, then you probably can't get lost. Well, I have to say it was very funny. I was sitting down Margaret River at where the river actually joins the Indian Ocean, and you've got to cross that. You've got to ford that. You see, and there's groups, and you see all those groups of walkers there. And there's some that, because there are waves breaking over, because you've got big surf down there. But
there is.
But you see some walkers, they just take their shoes and socks off and roll up the trousers or take them off, and occasionally it doesn't matter, and they just ford it. And it's deceptive when you see them walking across it. It's only sort of less than thigh deep, but you do get the odd wave washing, but it seems all right. People do it, and then others get scared and they won't do it, so they turn back and do the long walk. But it only took a minute or so. But it's funny watching those sit there.
You reckon you could make your way across generally?
Well, I saw plenty of people do it. Surfers do it all the time because they walk with their board. Well, they go up or use all parts of the beach wherever the break is, so they do it all the time. It's just that walkers, because they've got equipment, they're a bit daunted by it. But you see some just do it with no any problem, and others sit there, because I was there for a while taking photos, and others sit there and discuss it and discuss it and discuss it,
well,
and then they don't do it.
I guess you can always kind of test it. You send someone down without the kit and just see how you
progress. I mean, if there's a couple of you just send one across to see if they can do it, and if
not
they
me
can
again.
If they can do it, then it's easy, isn't it? But so that's probably one of the main problem areas is the Margaret River, where it enters the Indian Ocean. But apart from that, it's some beautiful country down there, lovely places. Sometimes the track really does hug the coast, so you get those beautiful coastal views, and at other times it heads inland and goes through forests.
You've got the best part of a week or more to travel this at a pretty consistent pace. Are there shortcuts? Can we meet
No, it's
the
135.
Track?
Well, yes, there are.
Do we have to do the whole thing from beginning to end?
No,
you start halfway?
You can start wherever you want. There's plenty of access to it because you're going through. But you can't do a Cape to Cape walk unless you walk from Cape to Cape. Otherwise, you're only doing part of the walk.
Well, that was my idea. Do a little bit. Next time when I have more days, come back and continue on. I've heard people do the Bibbulmun track in a similar way.
I know a lot of people do that. But the Bibbulmun track is over 1,000 kilometres, so it's substantially different.
You noticed.
Whereas a Cape to Cape, I mean, if you're going to do it, you may as well just do it all. Just take a week out, nice little holiday. You don't have to struggle.
Philosophies.
Well, there are that many nice retreats and spas sort of all along the length of the track.
That's true.
That you can just decide, well, I'm going to walk each day and then I'm going to relax in very comfortable surroundings at night. Or you can camp. There's plenty of camping on the track. There's, they have, if you're a walker, you can actually camp anywhere on the track, although they suggest that you go to the campsites. Now, some of these have been constructed by the Department of Conservation, and others are in licensed caravan parks and camping areas. So it depends really where you are on the track as to what your nearest campsite is. But also, you can, if you are a walker, you can camp anywhere on the track. But they ask you to be very, very careful because it is pristine bush.
It's responsible. I think, for me, I'd always encourage the campsites. I like to keep people safety numbers, but also you can't always be sure that folks are going to look after our beautiful environment.
No, well, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So it's good. And as I say, you can get down there. You can get down there pretty easy to get down there by public transport to... The main areas are Dunsborough and Augusta because they're the start and the finish. Well, they're not quite because you've got to go to the Cape, but you can get a cab out to the Cape. There are a lot of organisations. If you want to do a guided walk, there are, it's about 8 organisations that can help you with your guided walk. There's a couple of organisations that can help you with transport. If you have your own vehicle, you can actually park it at the Cape Naturaliste car park. You may charge... I don't think you pay a fee, but that's basically it starts at the lighthouse. It starts at the end of the lighthouses, but you can't park down at Cape Leeuwin, but you can park up at Cape Naturaliste. I don't mean leave your car there for a few days while you do the walk.
How safe do you think it is?
Well, it's pretty safe. I mean, it gets locked up at night.
That part I'd like. Hey, Steve, we'll take all that on board. It'll be good. And it's a great way to get out too. Now, Grumpy's getaway guide...
I wouldn't go in the heat of summer, I have to say. I would go... And I probably wouldn't go in winter. I would probably go spring and autumn.
I would concur.
Yes.
Grumpy'sGetawayGuide.com. That's the one to consider.